Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Transport Fever on the North Atlantic map. In our first episode we introduced this magnificent Toy Town train travelling between Paris and Berlin, and it is doing very nicely indeed. So we're already filling up, and since you've been gone I've added 2 more coaches. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't wait very long. I waited for it coming to the station. I took it back to the depot, and those 2 extra coaches have now given it 30 passenger capacity. Steady on, and that should pay off quite nicely. Given that even with the previous capacity of 18, we made 20,500 profit last year. Magnificent. So providing we can keep that full up, and with a bit of luck, we'll be able to drive a few more pads. See, look at this. I mean, it's almost ready to double track already. There would be, mad bucks to be made there. But no, we will not be gaining mad bucks just yet. Before we do so, and to stay true to the goals of this series, we will now fling ourselves lovingly across to the other side of the Atlantic. So while I strap myself into my catapult, why don't you stay tuned? Okay, so here is Europe in all of its majestic Europeness, and there's our first 2 kind of running there. The icons, I'll point this out for the first couple of episodes, and then I will expect you to remember. The alternate icons we're using here is part of a mod pack that potentially makes things show up a little better. Time will tell. But we're going to hop across the Atlantic now. We'll keep this orientation so that you're not disoriented as we swing across here. So here we are over to there's the East Coast and some of the kind of middle ground here in the US. And there's a couple of opportunities, because we're going to set up pretty much exactly the same thing. A couple of opportunities immediately present themselves. I think Atlanta Charlotte is probably the easiest to go with. And Charlotte, New York's a little bit further, that much is evident. Although Chicago, Toronto may be closer. What isn't closer is Port Nelson. There we go. So Port Nelson, no, frankly. Do we start in the south and then work our way through the other few cities? I mean, look, this couldn't be implying that a circuit-based route is what we want to be doing anymore if it tried. I may have to try and resist that for all I'm worth. And actually, to be fair, I mean, I think there's no choice in the matter. We are going to be doing some kind of circuit there. So okay, we'll start with Chicago, Toronto. What have we got going on here? So we've got a little bit of greenery, which is what we're aiming for with this first setup. That's okay. And then, as you would expect, it's all split so that it can't be simple. Fine. Okay, we'll take it. So these are both going to need the through platforms. Sure. These are going to need these chaps, frankly, because otherwise I'm going to have a hard time making a loop of it, and I'm gonna work to try and get this to build on both sides of the station immediately if I can. Can we delete that? Thank you, because you're in the way. So if I go over, in fact, if I plug on to the end of there, that might be the best solution. So let's build up some road along the. Now, I mean, this is obviously going to need a wagon-based commute of some description, as will most cities, towns, whatever I decide to call them at this stage of affairs. There are a bit of that, and a little bit of that. There we go. So we might have a bit of difficulty getting people to turn up and ride the Iron Horse at this early stage. Actually, that's not a bad connection. Let's do it. Okay. Max length, yes. 1 platform for now. Yeah. Did want the Second Street connection. However, how much are you going to charge me? 95 grand. All right. yeah, I'm going to put in second street connections pretty much immediately, given half a chance, because I want to start growing these towns on both sides, if at all possible. Because otherwise, you'll end up with a nice big chunk of population on one side and nothing on the other, and it looks silly. So if I can build in a central location immediately, I will do. The only limitation I'm going to have for that initially is kind of bank balance, because I can't afford to do what I would choose to do in the later game, which is just a devil may care plow straight through the middle of everybody's house. Sorry, you happen to choose the wrong place to live in. That's the kind of rampant industrialization that is what set my reputation as a rampant industrialist. Right, what have we got there? Okay, good. That's pretty good. Is it pretty good? Yes, add the second street connection now so we don't have to pay for it in a minute. In fact, that's very good. What's the corner look like? Pretty good. All right. Well, all things considered, this one's come out rather well. And yeah, do it. All right, magic. Right. So now a bit of trackaroo, and again, the track's going to be fairly cheap here because this map is jolly flat, but I am still playing on. That's not what you wanted to say, is it? I am still playing on medium difficulty. I do not believe in playing on easy. If you're going to play on easy, just turn all the costs off entirely, and make the city network of your dreams. But if you're gonna pretend to be playing it, pretend to be playing it with with the difficulty on. 34. There is going to be some undulate. This is the one section of the map where it appears that there is some landscape. Crikey. Alright, well, I'm going to run out of money before I can buy a train anyway. But hopefully I can get most of the track laid before we have to go dip into the piggy bank that is the bank manager's bank. Alright, good. That looks alright. We'll stick some town road across there. Like so. And then we'll hook it up onto the... No, look, why can't you just build straight? There you are. Right, now, I possibly should have used the opportunity there to build a slightly bigger road. But, I'm pretty comfortable with how that's panned out. Good. Okay, good. Yes, you can say good a few more times if you like. Thanks. Good. How have we got this side? No, we haven't got this side done at all. So let's get that rolling as well. Now, even with just the one train running in Europe, I should be able to turn a halfway decent profit here. But with two trains running, I should be able to get a fully decent profit going. Cuts across there, maybe? Yeah, that looks all right. Merge it back on. Yeah, because the first goal is get the debt down and expand, and that's hopefully what I'm going to pull off in this series is very rapid expansion, so that rather than sitting on my thumbs while flight is introduced and the 20th century rolls around, I'm actually in a position to do some aggressive expanding. Right, we've made 156k from the railroad and it's November. One would hope that our passenger train was about to arrive. I have to go look. Where is it? Speak to me, Mr. Train. There's Mr. Train. Mr. Train's approaching the station. When Mr. Train approaches the station, I'll be able to afford this bit of bally track that I'm trying to lay down. At the same time, actually, I'm kind of curious to know how much he's packing. 28? No! Tell those horse and pony people to, shake a leg, to Get some more urchins on my train. I need you operating at peak efficiency. If not peaker. More than peak efficiency. And there's no one rating at Toronto because we haven't built anything in Toronto yet. Alright, train comes in, and what's that actually worth? 72.5, well, 73,000. Splendid. In a year where I hadn't just, sunk every last penny I had into slinging a bit of track down, that would work quite nicely. So where was I building now? I was building this bit, wasn't I? Okay. Good. Gooder. Right, okay, so let's get Toronto set up with commuter stuff first. Not that the order makes a monstrous amount of difference, but we might as well do it in a sensible order. Not that it makes any difference, so there is no sensible order. Right, okay, well, we'll start here. Thank you. And then we shall... right, what have we got in radius? We've got this lot is already covered, but these chaps over here aren't. So let's stick that as a stop. Now, I appear to be going anti-clockwise here. I wonder if there's an argument to be made for going clockwise in Europe and anti-clockwise in the US. I don't think it makes the slightest bit of difference, but, maybe thematically that might be something. Oh, it's something, all right. And then we'll stick one more over there. Now, that last one is largely superfluous right now, but hopefully this will grow somewhat quickly. I don't even know what somewhat quickly looks like. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 6. Splendid. Where am I? Toronto. There we are. Right, okay, so you're going to be TOR, commuter. Now, I don't want to go too overboard in placing coaches early on because they all get a bit old, a bit quick, and have to be replaced. And if you haven't got your cash flow up by that point, well, then, you've got no cash. And as you'd expect, very little flow. With which to do anything. Right, I'm going to have to borrow some dosh here. Where are we? February 17th. Let's pause. Let's see if we can get away with only borrowing $500,000. Likelihood of that being all I need to borrow? Pretty slim. But, we'll start as we mean to go on. And the way that we start in the way that we mean to go on is we will spend in order to expand as we need to. Right, engine shed bought. Bus thing. Do the bus thing. One. Now we're fairly certain that lot's all covered, so we'll stick one down there on 2. This could be quite a short route. I haven't even finished building the roads. Right, build the roads. Ick. Better. Albeit very similar. Right. Where was 2? 1, 2, and then out there 3 and 4, and one more would be desirable. And actually, I'm not done. No. We're not at removal of buildings phase yet. That comes later after we've made a couple of billion quid. There we go. Right, and then the last one on there, probably about there. All right, let's plumb that in. Hopefully I won't be seeing you again too soon there, bank manager man. Right, 1, 2, 3, and then, and some of that. No, you've got that wrong. It's decided to take a different route because it thinks it's quicker, and since they're using horses and indeed carts, they are potentially right about that. So let's stick it on. Hold on, you got it on the right. You got it on the wrong side. That's why it was doing that. There you go. If you put it on the right side of the road, it just works. Good. Okay, so you are going to be Chicago commuter. Magical. Okay, right. 400,000 left. What sort of a train? Let's do this while we're here. Add station. South Street, apparently. And whatever that is. Toronto. So, Chicago, Toronto. Again, another border crossing with our first American service. North American service, I should say. Okay, now what are you gonna charge me for a choo-choo? We want a Baldwin, obviously. Let's go for a good American red, and then 272. I can afford one of those. Oh God, no, let's. I don't really want to buy two straight away. But I think I might end up buying two straight away. What the hell? Let's do it. Let's live dangerously. Set line on to Chicago, Toronto. Good. Now, if I can get some coaches from one depot rather than two, it's going to save me the depot cost at least. Because, Operation Cheapskate, I think, is going to have to kick in a little earlier than anticipated. Right, buy road vehicles. Stagecoaches, where you're getting a good American red. 13.7. I can buy 10 of them. Good, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pops in, and you can go to Chicago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can all go to Toronto. There we are, smashing. Now I've got 44,000 left in the world. Now I need these chaps to start, paying the bucks. So let's roll it and see what it looks like. Where are you? Coming out of me engine shed. You should be. It's a train. I am reliably informed. Same driver though. He gets about. He's left Europe to come and teach you Americans a thing or two about driving trains. Or being a train engineer, I believe you prefer to refer to these chaps, which is fine, as you wish. Now, both stations again have a decent catchment area as far as residential goes, but we're going to need them to be fed just a touch by our comrades on horseback. Nice. The other thing to bear in mind about starting this early with trains is they do get superseded. These early engines get superseded pretty swiftly, and so you will end up wanting to replace them in the early stages of the game. Can't be helped. You either wait and build your trains a bit later, or you take the hand that you're dealt initially, and just live with it. Anyway, let's take in the beautiful American countryside here as we move towards the beautiful Canadian countryside. Let me know if you can tell the difference. Equally, let me know if you can tell the difference between this and the beautiful European countryside. The lonesome tree there, passing on the right. There aren't really any other points of interest at the present time, unfortunately. I don't know what to tell you. I was thinking this was a bit on the roller coaster side of things, but it turns out that it's actually okay. What's going on over there? Those stagecoaches. They don't look like stagecoaches from this angle. They look more mechanical than that, but I'm going to trust in them being what they're supposed to be. Now, we haven't had any passenger deliveries at this point. I can see that Toronto is going to have an elevated station in some fashion. Some remodelling here in the future, I think, could make it look rather sporty. Not a passage in sight. That's okay, we'll take it. Here come the coaches, getting started on their route. Now, I want you chaps to work jolly hard in bringing everyone to the station. Tell them that there's a brand new invention in town and they're invited to ride on it. And then if they're still not interested, just sling them in the back of your coach and we'll work it out from there. Okay, right, so nobody on there at the Mo. Anybody waiting in Chicago? Nobody's waiting in Chicago. Mind you, that said, the wagons have only just started rolling. Come on, where's our trailblazer? Here he is, look. George Washington himself. He's turning up to give it a spin. Unless he... No, there he is. He's crossing. He's brought his father's axe. And there's a cherry tree with his name on it somewhere. Probably butchering quite a bit of American history there, but, you know, I think you get the point. Obviously, you know, George Washington was long dead by this point, but, you know, who's really counting? Good. Okay, good. So we've got passengers waiting over in the States, and I'm short of cash. And, where are we? September. I've only got 117 thou from my train services this year. But I'm faintly optimistic, even though we're down £1 million this year because I borrowed money and bought stuff, that we will be approaching break-even next year. Yeah, I feel good about 1854. 1854 feels like a strong year to me. Feels like the kind of year where, you know, winsome entrepreneurial folk go out there and carve themselves a niche in the world with their £3 million in debt. Now, I could immediately go for a third line, but I want to see these two start paying off before I do so. If I start extending before anything's working in the slightest, you know, that's not sustainable. We've got 3 people waiting. Where are my coaches? Well, they're all working apparently. They're a little bit bunched up around this side of town, but I'm reliably informed they will take it upon themselves to level out. That is quite an unusual approach to the station there. Not least of all because the station itself is on the flat. What I need is some kind of game-based spirit level. Because that looked like he's going downhill. Does that look like he's going downhill to you? Definitely looked like he was going downhill. Anyway, in the next episode, we'll find out whether or not it is going downhill. Because it is downhill this way. And we've got a bit of a weird lump going on. This didn't look anything like this weird when I was building it. I mean, I knew I had a bit of a slope to contend with, but it didn't feel quite this nutty. Anyway, it is Canadian. So, you know, draw your own conclusions. Thanks very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Please throw a like at this one. In this day of YouTube throwing its weight around and changing up its flaming algorithm, if you chuck a like and a comment in here, might help a few more people find it. Might not, but it's certainly not going to do any harm. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Subscribe if you'd like to keep up with the series. I recommend doing so because it's going to get better and longer. You know, the two not mutually exclusive, but, you know, they do tend to happen kind of in parallel. And I'll be back very soon with probably more of the same. So I'll catch up with you very soon. Cheerio.